I think small studio is gonna go first.
This will be Mir?
No, I think Mir will be one of the less, to be honest. Yeah, so I think those skills will be less and less relevant.
You really want to do this?
Ideally, I would love to switch to a completely another field.
Adapt, or you can lose your job.
Yeah.
What about the animation in ArcWiz?
So now companies are looking for prompt AI engineer. Like Brick Visual is advancing extremely quick with that. They seem to be pretty chill about it. Like they're not worried at all because they're already adapting. They're already working with movie studios, with advertisement industry. They are like branching out from ArcWiz. They're already connecting with game studios. Apparently, ChatGPT said pineapple on pizza is all right, and Italians couldn't deal with that. Italy has banned ChatGPT. So that's an example where AI is not taking our job, it just improves it and makes it easier. So that's the bright side of it. As ArcWiz artists, we are not that useful for society in general. Once we are not needed in industry, we will be quickly replaced.
Hi guys, in this podcast I invited Dmitro, one of the strongest artists at Plomp studio and beyond. Dmitro is a very versatile person with skills in climbing, programming, visualization, music and photography. He also does workouts and 60 push-ups every morning. We talked to him about how AI can both help and enslave us. Enjoy watching. Hello mates.
Hello there.
I have just one question. What's fucking going on with this artificial intelligence?
Yeah, are we jumping straight in like that?
Yeah,
Okay,
why
sure.
not?
Okay. So what do you want to start with? Like, was AI in our industry or in general?
I think let's start with our 3D field. Yeah.
Yeah, so just recently, for example, it's getting even crazier because I already got calmed down a bit because I realized that it's not so bad for our case. But recently I seen a post of people hiring AI artists. So like people proficient with Midjourney and shit, and they're like posting looking like job offers, like official job offers. And that just blew my mind. But yeah, I think we haven't got much more time left, if to be short. I guess we can go home.
You told me about this can take 1 or 2 years, right?
Well, I was always a bit too pessimistic. So let's say 5 years ago, I was already like saying that, guys, this is heading nowhere. Like we're gonna be out of jobs in 3-4 years. And it took a bit longer. It took 4 or 5 years still to reach this point. We still have job, and I think that we still will have job for the next 2 years or so. Even the smallest studios will be fine. But as we go, I think it will just slowly phase out. Like people will start get less and less orders. Because if let's just imagine a typical studio workflow, right? Like not my studio per se, just a generic ArcWiz studio, right? We receive a blueprint from the client, not even a blueprint. We receive a 3D model, we apply generic materials, right? Some libraries and shit. And we try to sketch on, I think most studios works like that. Like we try to sketch, come up with some cool images, and to do like a basic scene preparation, to clean up the model, assign the material, it takes us day or two, right? Then to produce images, it's another day. It's 3 work days of just basic scene prep and shit job. We call it shit job, like scene preparation. No one likes doing that. It's a boring part. But here you get an opportunity to jump straight into the project and start churning out images one after another one. And we already receive basic references and basic sketches from our clients that were generated with Midjourney. Like I'm not gonna name any client names because it doesn't matter. It's just as a matter of fact, recently, in the last 2 projects, we had references from Midjourney. So yeah, and imagine when it gets to the point when the images are high enough resolution, because what's holding back clients right now, what they cannot produce is the high-res images, right? If they need to print an image, even if they're happy with Midjourney result, like how it looks, their architecture, they won't be able to print it on a large enough scale, because all it does is like 1.6K resolution. So yes, there are AI upscalers, but the materials and fine details still aren't there, so they need us for that. But in a short, I think in a short time, that challenge will overcome as well. Like, it's not that difficult to upscale the images.
But what do you think? What's happened first? Because you are in Amsterdam and surrounded by very specific people who know and work in this field with AI. And what do you think about that? What happened first?
So it's funny because, like, previously, like before the AI actually appeared, people were always speculating and saying which jobs will go first. Like people were always assuming that artistic jobs will go last. Like the artistic jobs will be the less to replace, and the artists will be the safest, safest jobs, because it's so hard for computers to be artistic. But it turns out we are the first one. That's which is very ironic if you think about it, because apparently, like, it's the easiest for AI. Like, what is hard at the moment is for AI is being specific. It's hard to being precise. It can reproduce stuff, but it reproduces it like visually similar to the stuff it learned from, right? But all the styles and everything that is that people develop with such a how would I phrase it correctly? Just hold on. Let me rephrase it. It takes years to develop your own style. It takes years to like master like even sketching processing, right? It takes years to like master lighting and understanding how materials work and stuff. And then we fed all that information. We fed so many renderings and like so many jobs to the neural networks, that now it can repurpose, it can reuse all those styles, and you can even request like prompt specific stylistics. So for example, if you want an image that is in style of, I don't know, like Bofill architecture, or like photography by some some particular person, it will replicate that. So recently I also saw, I was browsing the TurboSquid, and I realized there was a little message about the changes in their policies regarding the AI and AI generated models. And what they're saying is that they stopped accepting 3D models or like even photos generated by AI, because it goes against their policies, because you cannot you cannot attach the author's right of any work that is generated AI to any person, because essentially it has learned, like the neural network, like Midjourney, it has learned from all the artists around the world, right? So all the art, all the stuff that it spews out on you, that it has generated, it's attributed to those people who from whom it learned. So you cannot like attribute that image to any person. So those people that master that craft, that develop their style, they are not paid, and we are just abusing their work. But this is like what I'm saying now is like very generic, like everyone knows about it. So I don't think it's even that interesting, like, because there is such a big conversation and so much fighting going on right now about that. Like there are major court trials in US going on right now about that. So I don't think I'm gonna tell anything new about this, to be honest. I just don't want to like be very repetitive about it. I think everyone knows that. So I think where it becomes interesting, like and where I can put a bit of my own input, is about our very specific and narrow field, right? Because I've been in ArcViz for a very long time, and I've seen it evolving, and I've seen how it's going. We always like on forums, we always were chatting and writing about the button, make it beautiful button, and it will kill us all. You remember those posts? Like even 5 or 6 years ago, there were people like panicking, saying like, oh, Corona came out, now it does such a pretty renderings out of the box, like we are doomed, no one will hire us because architects can do pretty renders. No, it's not gonna happen. And I think even with really like I started learning programming recently, and I was always pretty I got pretty depressed, because as soon as I started learning it, I realized the chat GPT came out. It was like a year ago when I started doing this.
I even use it right now for translating my thoughts.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Great.
That's crazy. Man,
yeah. So
sorry to interrupting, but we always talk about the pessimistic side. And what do you think about what the positive side for artists, for people, I don't know, for everyone? I mean, okay, let's talk about just for ArcViz. Yeah, what's the positive side?
Yeah. So that's where I was heading precisely. Like, so I started coding, right? And I was pretty amateur. I got a bit better. Now I'm designing my own software for Macs and stuff. But the point is that I realized that even at my level with programming, I stopped using ChatGPT. Like I'm using it less and less, because I realized like once you get complex, once you get to the points where it becomes more difficult to describe what you want from it, it becomes just for me it became easier to code it straight away than figure out how to describe to the ChatGPT of what I want. So it's harder for me to describe what I want than to code it myself, So at a certain threshold, after a certain complexity of work, it becomes easier to do it yourself than to try to prompt the thing. And I think ArcViz and image creation suffers from a similar. It has a similar issue. So architects can generate their buildings that will look nicely in a pretty lighting, etc. But they will struggle placing and being very specific about the balconies. Like they want, let's say, specific type of material. It has to some specific properties, specific grill shapes, etc. That's the part where we still have an edge, and they will struggle to replace us with. And I think we have to play to our strengths. And secondary, even if we get replaced with that, even if it is able to produce very specific and detailed images from the description, architects they don't have that much free time. They will still need people who are prompting it properly. So now companies are looking for prompt AI engineers. We will be those people. So like we will be the people, like current ArcViz people will be the ones who will be prompting the AI. We will be working directly with the studios and doing it for them.
Look, Dmitro, we again start with the pessimistic side. I want a little bit smile.
Is everyone depressed?
Like
Is everyone, I don't know, man. I think I'm past that point. So I think for me it was like, the first you're in denial phase. You are denying that it came. Then you're like,
stage,
no.
Right?
Now I just accepted it. It's fine, man. We're gonna be fine. Really, like there will be. So there will be a moment when it will get a bit chaotic, I assume, because there will be a large people resource that is out of job right now. But at the same time, there will be new jobs like AI engineers. The people who are prompting it, people like we will repurpose. Like our skills are still useful, and AI is pretty dumb. Like it's pretty dumb with coming up with ideas. You still need to prompt it with ideas. It cannot generate ideas unless you prompt it. So now there are tricks, there are plugins for ChatGPT and stuff where it prompts itself. That's like a next level. That's what they do right now. Is like how you give a shorter description, so the ChatGPT generates a bigger description, a broader one, and then passes it to another iteration.
What do you think? Midjourney, this is prompts, will do us very lazy?
No, I think for example, I'm already using in my workflow, I'm using AI to sometimes to get inspired. Sometimes I am so like bored and uninspired about the image. I'm not gonna name the client name because I don't want to offend them. But we got really shitty architecture. Like it was really lame as project, and I was super reluctant on even starting on the project because I had no ideas what to do about it. It was just a lame project in the New York, uh, which sounds fun in theory, but it was just another generic tower. So yeah, and then I prompted Midjourney, like I prompted basic requirements like a tower in New York, night, Broadway, etc., and it gave me cool ideas. Then from that I started prompting my own ideas, like okay, modify this, and then I added like let's add steam from the subway, and I came up with another idea, and that dragged into another one, and then it sped up the process, because usually I would be pretty uninspired and it would take me longer to produce a cool image, because I would like hang around, like look for cool angles, and probably I would get the result that would be more or less similar to that, but it would just take me much longer. Or maybe it would even be worse, because I wouldn't iterate so many times as AI did. Like you can come up with ideas real quick. I don't think it will make us lazy. No, not lazy.
What do you think? Of course, we have just Midjourney right now for images, right? And
Yeah.
what about the animation in ArcWiz? Yeah.
So there are several companies that already are able to produce the videos, but it's still pretty janky. I think we still have way more. Um, uh, there's still so much improvement needed to make it viable. We are still not there, even with the still images. Even the still images aren't that great as for now. Like I've seen recently, there is a plugin for Revit, and you just grab a viewport screenshot, and it generates and you prompt it, you add the prompt, and then you generate renderings straight from the viewport. There is another plugin from Blender that does similar thing, but it's still like very janky and sketchy, and it's like not that smart. It basically just takes the shapes and tries to analyze and then combines it with the prompt. um, yeah. So animations are still far from now. I will say like another 2 years till we start getting some tools that are able to do the animations. And even then, like I'll be honest. I used because I'm working on animations as well, right? So I used ChatGPT a couple of times to help me with ideas to generate the general plot for the animation. So like to come up with
Wow.
ideas of what goes after what. Like I had a project in a desert. We all know the desert project; they're common now. And I described the building, and I was like, okay, we need a 2-minute animation of like arrival scene, and I even tried to hint like on the on the topics and like what could be shown there, and it just described the super mundane, like a super generic
You mean it doesn't
plot.
work?
It works. It was just extremely generic. It was not interesting. It was like a cheap ass bad movie. Like if I would to follow that plot, it wouldn't be that exciting.
Yeah. Who are listening right now? Us. I don't know. I guess that's maybe think about. So let's jump to animation, guys. It's one of the insights in this podcast. And I have a question. Which skills are becoming less relevant for 3D artists now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I haven't seen that much of modeling recently. I remember the
Modeling.
times. Yeah, yeah. Funny
Wow.
enough, yeah.
You mean modeling
3D
and also
modeling.
in the brush? Or no, I understand. I mean, okay, you mean modeling in
Architecture.
stocks?
Yeah, architecture, also stock models and everything. Yeah, so I think those skills will be less and less relevant, and they will disappear first, I believe, or they will be less needed. There will be modeling required for gaming industry, because it's like very specific. You need to make polygon efficient models, proper mappings, etc. that will stay, but like a basic architecture modeling will be gone soon. So whenever I get a chance to model something, I'm enjoying it. Like recently I had to do some derelict abandoned building. That was pretty fun because I know we won't get to do it for much longer, I think, because there is so much 3D scan stuff right now. Like we are using mega scans in every project basically. I stopped like recently, like 2 years ago, I would still look for some tiles for the payment, etc. For some specific stuff. But now I'm just downloading all of that from libraries. I don't do like custom street modeling, custom curbstones, or stuff like that. We receive models from architects. I don't remember when did we have to model a building the last time that
Yeah, really. I
So
even forgot about it.
yeah,
How
it
to
became
model
a
something
norm.
very easy.
Yeah, before it was a privilege. You remember it used to be a privilege. Like, wow, because I remember.
You need to start with 3D modeling because it's very fundamental of 3D.
Yeah. Now I'm developing a tool, like a script that will do it for you. Like I'm working on my own tool that will just, you import stuff from Rhino, you just hit the button and it assigns the materials based on the object names, etc. So it does. It eliminates even that part of the process. So I think modeling will go away first. Then sketching will go second, I believe, because it's so easy to sketch now. Like it's as easy as never before. Like it's. We don't even need to sketch at this point. Like we just we can receive like a straight up requests from the client to do this mood with this lighting, this angle, because they have already tried it out with Midjourney. It worked for them. They liked it, but now they want it in high res and they just want to produce it in high quality that doesn't look like a generated image.
Dmitro, I have a question about. I know that you are surrounded with great people, artistic people, but can you tell me, this is your opinion, or have you analyzed this?
Yeah. So most of the stuff is subjective. It comes from me, but even that, like, where do I get that information? We chat with people around. I talk with people at lunchtime. We chat in our groups. And on the conference recently visited, we discussed it a lot as well. There is an amazing conference called In Betweenness Festival about ArcViz. Mm-hmm. So I met a lot of people there. So all those opinions, like my opinions, are built from those conversations as well, right? It's not like I'm so brilliant and I came up with those ideas. Like I listen to other people and I listen what do they have to say, how do they experience it, and maybe they have something else to tell to me. So it's not only my opinion. It's my opinion that is built on others' opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I have a question about who will be affected first, big studio or small studio? Because we discussed with my friends, he told me that the first who destroyed this is big studios because they need the more customers, more
orders. I think it's the opposite actually. I think small studios gonna go first, unfortunately. Why? Because I do root for the small studios. I would love small studios to stay and big ones to go because fuck the corporations, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because because we discussed that of course small studios have not too much monies, but big studios have a lot of monies and a lot of employees. I mean that big studio needs to maintain their employees and needs more money for this. But
the difference is here. The difference here is that big studios are in a way hard. It's hard for them to adapt, but at the same time they have much larger buffer, so they can take a hit of not receiving orders for a long time, because they already made a lot of money. They have more revenue. So the big studios that I know and I worked, one of the big studios that I worked for is Brick Visual, of course. And I've met them on a conference. We spoke a lot. and they seem to be pretty chill about it. Like they're not worried at all because they're already adapting. They're already working with studios, with movie studios, with advertisement industry. They are like branching out from ArcVis. They're already connecting with game studios, with the advertisement. I think I named it already. Music artists. So they're making like music videos and stuff. So I think big studios that are adapting, let me add, will be fine. But the small studios, should I name names? Probably not. Okay, like studios under 15 people, I think will be affected most. Maybe even smaller than that, because why are those studios hired in the first place by architects, right? Those studios are cheaper. The small ones typically are cheaper than the large studios. They're slightly less reliable. They have less resource, but at the same time they're quick. They're willing to like prove themselves to architects. So they're easier to work with because architects can manipulate them easier into like doing the angles the architects want to see. Not always. Like Mir is a small studio. Our studio is small, and we are not so easy to manipulate. we will push back on stupid comments. But most of studios that I know are like that. Like their architects often dictate what do they want to see, which angle, which light, make interiors bright, make sunlights and light inside of the interiors, put happy kids in the foreground, all that kind of crap that we love. So. Architects won't need those studios anymore, I believe, because they don't need to fight with them. They don't need to describe it all to them, because it will be produced so easily by the prompt, by prompting the AI. It will be so easy to make those generic average, like we call it Chinese style renderings, because there are so many Chinese rendering companies and they look all the same. Not to offend any, like I'm sure there are a lot of good Chinese artists, but like as a whole, there are a lot of studios that are like producing a very similar looking result. They're not standing against the crowd, so those will go because the AI will be trained on those. It will be harder to make some unique stuff. Like I'm sure Mir will stay for what it is now, because it's got a name, it's got a reputation, it's got artistic value. So like people know them for being craftsmen. It's like why are people buying expensive clothing? Not because it's so much higher quality, it's because it comes from that brand, right? So it's a brand. So companies with the brand name should be fine, I assume. Like the companies that are small and not that well known, unfortunately, that's a really sad prospect, but I think they will be affected most. So my personal advice to people who are like building their own companies or like solo freelancers: try to branch out. Like try to do more stuff besides ArcVis. Don't get stuck in ArcVis. Like start doing some.
What do you can recommend?
If you like game design, try doing the game design. If you like advertisement, try doing some show reels with VFX.
You think that we need to learn not just, stuck in ArcVis, and also think about another job?
You need to branch out. It's like it's the safest thing you can do. It's like with stock investment. If you're investing into stocks, you do not put 100% of the stuff you own into one stock, because that's very risky, right? You usually try to like distribute the funds. So you will put, let's say, 50% into like very reliable stock, and then like 10% into very unreliable, but the one that is risky, but it can give you the high profits. But the most, like the largest bulk, you will keep in a reliable stuff. So I would say like we can continue doing the ArcVis safely for the next 2 years and just like improving, like because we never know where it's heading. I might be wrong, and AI might completely suck, and architects will keep ordering our images, and everything is beautiful. But if I'm not wrong, then there is a chance that people that are stuck with ArcVis right now will be out of job. So to prevent that, if my recommendation is like keep doing this, but just try branching out, try other stuff, try doing movies, animations, try game design. I'm repeating myself, but that's I think that's the main point here. Like try coding, whatever. Like try photography, because that's the thing AI still cannot do, right? You still need to walk with the camera to the places.
We have one more hope. What do you think? The government
will the government be regulating? That's what do you mean?
What do you think about that?
I would not rely on governments. They always failed us, and they will. People in government, most of times politicians are some old fart people who have no clue what's going on. They just want their high ratings. Like they want to keep their polls high, and they will do whatever is most popular and most demanded at this moment. So there is a chance that they will start cracking down on AI. But even if they do, let's imagine the government has regulated and banned the AI completely. Like they did ban ChatGPT in Italy. Because apparently ChatGPT said that pineapple on pizza is all right, and Italians couldn't deal with that. No, that was a meme. It was funny. I don't know if you caught that meme, but it was like the ChatGPT. Someone posted the question to ChatGPT: "Is it okay to put pineapple on pizza?" And it answered yes. And literally the next day after that meme was around, Italy has banned ChatGPT. Yeah, but do you think it will really prevent people from using the AI, even if it's banned and unregulated? No, I don't think so. It's like if you if you are banning the drugs, like let's say weed, it's banned in Ukraine, right? But everyone is smoking weed. Like people do smoke weed in countries that weed is banned. Like it will just become underground. Like people will still the genie is out of the bottle. Like people have tried the AI. You cannot stop this thing. Like whatever. Even if the government is trying to crack down on it, it's already way too late. I think it's out, and people have figured out how convenient it can be and how great it is for certain tasks. I do hate the prospect that all the advertisements and other media things that we see around will potentially be generated with AI. So I do think there has to be some regulation, and it will be done, because it's possible to recognize and figure out which images were generated with AI. There are like AI detector AIs. There are neural networks that are trying to figure out if the image was generated with AI. Yeah, so it can become illegal, or maybe there will be some fines for using it if you're using it commercially. It might become illegal for commercial use, so you're not allowed to post those works if they are bringing your money, right? Or use them to sell your products, etc. And that would make most sense, because as I mentioned in the very beginning, like the works it trained on, the works the AI has trained are produced by people, and then we are essentially stealing their style. It's like if one music artist is stealing other artist's song, it's not a cover. It's called a stolen song or stolen idea. It's a ripoff. Then they can go to court and sue them. We see some anime artist that was doing comics for their life, and now you can reproduce their works for free in unlimited quantity. Why would you pay or hire that artist? And you can reproduce their style in particular. And that's especially dangerous for all the concept artists. That's the most endangered species right now, I believe. So there must be some regulation applied, but I wouldn't rely on governments. So my recommendation again, trust yourself and rely only on yourself. So just branch out, do what you love doing, but as well don't take it as granted. Try to learn new stuff.
And also have another opinion that's about okay, maybe we will not lose our job. Maybe we will do a lot of job instead of lose job.
That's. I covered it in the beginning. I think that's how I started. Like with every, and it's such a. I hate this phrase because it's been said so many times. I feel like I'm just repeating other people's saying. But when industrial revolution came, like it created more jobs. Like it's always people are bringing this comparison. Like people were first afraid that it will take jobs, but I think it's a stupid comparison because like industrial revolution, you still need people to maintain and produce machine. In digital format, you don't need to maintain anything. You don't need people to produce shit. You're prompting. There are machines that are prompting machines. It's like it's not like that. It's a bad comparison. So no, unfortunately, I don't think that it will create more jobs on the short run. On the long run, yes, but first, it will get rid of a lot of jobs, like managers and all this stuff will go together with the artists as well. Like even people are replying with ChatGPT to the emails, right? Like people are using it to write or reply to emails all the time, and it became a norm. I've seen the memes where you're like ChatGPT replies to a ChatGPT.
Yeah, what we see that's a lot of studios, not a lot of, maybe some of them, try to hire looking for AI artists. And what professions of the future do you think may emerge and related with architectural visualization?
Honestly, I don't know. It's very hard to predict, but I think that we will evolve, like the architect, because what are we good at? Like what ArcViz artist is good at? Like what can we do? Like what are we? Like we are not that useful to society if you think about it. We're just producing nice, pretty images, but as well we have some like hard skills. Like we are skillful with 3D, most of us, unless you're like photoshopping everything, which is also good. But we are skillful with 3D, so we can produce assets. We know how it works from inside. So even if AI is producing 3D models, there will still be people needed who can improve those models or who knows how to put them together in a larger and more complex projects. Like if you're working on a video game and it's a large project, there will still be need people that will people will be needed who supervise the project, who supervise the like a bigger picture of that. So I think we just will reprofile. Like we will have to look for new opportunities and maybe more interesting and more exciting opportunities, because I'm sure everyone is getting fed up with ArcViz at some point. I've been doing this for 12 years. And I feel like maybe not 12, maybe 11, 11 or so. And I feel like I had enough of it. That's why for me, I don't see it as the bad thing, the AI at this point. Like at first I was like pretty negative about it. For me, it's just a new, like it's like an evolution, a new branch, and like a new push to start doing something else, something more exciting and more interesting. Because and ArcViz will stay. Like it will never disappear completely. I think like there will be still crafted ArcViz, like handcrafted, like why people are buying, Ferrari, because it's handcrafted. It's not done by factories. So there will be handcrafted art, but as well most of it will go as well. Yeah.
And we have right now a lot of stuff about the 3D, about the modeling, render, and blah blah blah, something like that. And what do you think? We will need to retrain our skills after 1 year. I mean, learn everything again.
It's I don't think we have to retrain, because we already have like all the skill set necessary. Our strengths is not just the knowledge of how to put the model together, how to put the sun and find a pretty angle and hit the render button. That's not what artists are good with. There are, of course, like you need that skill as well. Our strengths is into coming up with with seeing the prettier options. So like if you prompt an AI and you have 25 images as an output, how do you know which image is the most exciting one, which one tells the story best, or which image is the prettiest, so we are good at that. We are good at, because we've been working with this for so long. We know what works better. Like AI might be good at providing us options, but it can't tell you which option is the most beautiful one. It's very subjective, right? But that also takes practice, like recognizing the prettier images.
Can you break down 5 options where we can use Midjourney in our work? I mean, okay, for inspiration, that was first. Everyone used for this. Second is, I don't know. You
recently,
can continue.
Recently, for example, a very good example, I needed some matte paints, and I was matte painting some fountains. I didn't want to do them in 3D because that's quite a lame job. It's time consuming. So I just wanted to matte paint some like small. It was a row of fountains, like 15. It was like a square and like 15 water streams gushing out of the floor. So usually what I would do, I would just Google and find something on Flickr or, on LME stocks and etc. But it's such a tiring and such a lame job to do. Then you need to cut it out. You need to screen it. So what I did, I just went to the Midjourney and prompted it like generate like a water fountains, black background ready to paste for matte painting. And then I got a bunch of water streams, and I just and I didn't care that it was low resolution, because if my image is 3000 pixel tall or 2000 pixel, right? If it's 5K wide, 2000 tall, then the 1000 resolution water clip art was more than enough for me, because it's far and then I can scale down. And it was perfect. I literally switched the mode to screen, and I didn't even have to mask anything because it was on a black background, right? So like matte painting like that becomes just much easier. That's what I love about it. Then I would love to get rid like of people pasting. At Plomp, Plomp is known in general for like being good with people and clip art. Because we take it like very seriously. We like to find like very original clip arts. Like we like to find photos and then cut them and find unexpected stories. Find unexpected clip arts, etc. We are looking for the light for it to match. But personally, I know people who enjoy that. Personally, in my company, I don't enjoy doing that. So I would love for AI to replace that part. And I think soon with new Adobe Firefly coming out, that's a new AI tool from Adobe. I think it will be able to do that. So like clip arts and matte paint elements. That's a third one, like people, etc. Then the fourth one is masking. Like masking shit became so much easier. I love it. Like cutting out stuff in Photoshop. Like before, you would spend like, I don't know, 20 minutes just making one good cutout of some vegetation or like people. Again, now I can do the magic. How is it called? Like AI selection. I don't recall how is it called in Photoshop, this tool. But you just drag over a frame. No, it's not a fill. You just drag a frame and it makes a perfect selection. Most of time it needs fixing after it, but 70% of job is done. That's the number 4. How would I use it? And then in video as well, because we are doing animations, right? So now it automatically generates the Z depth channel, so you can tweak the animations by the depths, etc. You can generate it on the footage as well. You can track and cut out, do the same thing what I just described with the Photoshop, but you can do it in animation, which is really hard. Before you would use you would rotoscope it manually and like select it manually. Now there are magic masks, so you just drag a couple of lines and it selects the subject and then it tracks it perfectly. That's and I think those improvements are brilliant. I actually love AI for that. So that's an example where AI is not taking our job; it just improves it and makes it easier. And then architects won't pay us less because we are using AI, but we will be able to produce more work. So that's the bright side of it.
I think in this near future, studios do ultimates for artists. You can learn Midjourney, adapt, or you can lose your job.
I think it's not. I think it makes sense what you're saying, but it's not the studios who made that ultimate. I think that's the reality. Like it's just the reality that makes this ultimate to you. You know, like you don't have to be told to your by your boss that in the future you will be out of job if you are not adapting.
Okay, yeah. I've my question is finished. What do you think? What questions I can ask?
We went too quick over them, huh?
No, yeah, it's 50 minutes already. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can. I think we can talk a lot about this topic. And I remember in our last conversation you told about that you exhausted about the arc quiz,
Yeah.
and do you think about replace your job, or how can I say change your job?
Yeah, changing it, like moving to another field. Like, yeah, that would be my dream because
You really think about it? You really want to do this?
yeah, absolutely. Like I was thinking, like recently, 2 years ago, I was legit thinking of like changing my profession altogether. Like I wanted to go study to university here and like learn the completely new field. I wanted to go to apply to the physics field. I was like excited in optics and other fields, or I don't know. I just really felt like having an education, like a secondary education that is not related to architecture, or like not being so limited in your skills is always great. But to be fair, I always was a person who's like switching between things and like who's trying out stuff. I tried photography, I tried music and video making, whatever. Like I try many things as I go. But yeah, ideally I would love to switch to completely another field. Like I would love to move to, if not to movie making, then I don't know, programming, probably, potentially, or maybe even being an AI engineer who's developing the tools. So now I'm working, as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm working on some tools that are improving our workflow. Or
Yeah, we have a lot of studios, ArcWiz studios, and in your opinion, which studio will find the first application for of AI? This will be Mir.
no, I think Mir will be one of the less, to be honest. Like they're extremely conservative. I've met the guys many times. I know guys that are working there personally, and I know the guy who worked there is Sanne Plomp, so I know them pretty well from inside. And Mir is a pretty conservative studio. They do great stuff, but they don't like to switch and like try out new software. I don't think they will be switching anytime soon, but or like applying AI. But studios that will switch for sure are large studios like Brick. Like Brick Visual is advancing extremely quick with that. Like they are trying out, tried developing their own viewport to rendering Midjourney, which works in a very crude way, but it's fun. They're trying sketching with it and stuff. They're trying to implement it into workflow. I'm pushing for it in our studio as well. I'm trying to push for using it more. We already are kind of using it for certain tasks, but like not that much, to be honest. People are not that thrilled.
What do you think about the clients? What they think about this?
Oh, I think it's a blessing for clients. Is the best thing ever that happened to them, because right now, like as I remember last time we were talking, I was complaining that we are the nuisance to the clients. They do not want to have us. Like clients hate us having us. We are inconvenience for them. Like we are not something they would willingly choose. They need, like, we are whiny. We are constantly asking them for models. We are always fucking things up. We are not making the materials perfect. We are fighting with them. They want to make it bright. We make cloudy sky. They want to see it bright and sunny. They need to argue with us. Plus, they need to pay us like 3K per image. This is like, for clients, we are absolute like nonsense to have. They hate having us. We are inconvenience. So as soon as they get the tools, and they will be able to generate images themselves without like outsourcing us, I'm think I my like My personal opinion is that they will jump on it as soon as they can. And I think it's not only my opinion, actually, because I know a lot of architects as well, and I heard what they're thinking about us, and it's not great.
Yeah. We'll still not lose our job because Dmitry made a good argument for this. Okay. Yeah, this is, I think, superficial topic for everyone. No one know about this, what's happened. And what I can say, just, I think we need to adapt. The first rules is we need to adapt for this and try to follow future, right?
Yeah, I think adapting, and not only that, but also branching out. My main suggestion is like try being useful for society. Like our job at this point and at this moment, like as ArchViz artists, we are not that useful for society in general. Like we are not producing any material goods. You know, we are like artists are producing their art. They are producing art that is important into like moving the culture and stuff. We are not doing art. Our job is applied art. So it's like advertisement is useful to sell stuff. We are kind of in between of advertisements and art, but not really. At the same time, we are scamming population into believing, and cities into believing that what architects are going to build is nicer than it is in reality, what they're planning to build. So I never felt great about doing those projects where you are clearly cheating, like you are moving the building to make it seem more far away. I was never excited about that. So like we are not a useful part of society, and once we are not needed as a whole, as an industry, we will be quickly replaced. So my idea is that if you branch out and you can find yourself like in something else, you can keep doing this with peace of mind. That if you're out of job, you will not stay out of job. You will have work to feed your family and like pay for your bills.
What about your director, Plomp Studio? Studio director really worry about it, or just maybe relax?
We do have our discussions all the time about it. Like we have those discussions during lunch times. We like theorizing and like discussing where to move. Like what should we change about it to stay relevant and to stay afloat. I would say we are cautiously optimistic. Like we are aware of it. We are aware that things are gonna change and like there will be less job in the future. But we will try staying relevant with stuff that can't be done by AI. Like for now, it's animations and like creative images that are not so easy to prompt, or like you can prompt them, but they won't be in such a high quality. Or like we are also good with with creative thinking. Like we always. I think Plomp is just known in general for like for creativity, like coming up with more interesting ideas than other studios. Yeah. So I think there is no like panic. We are aware of it. We are like trying to use it whenever we can, but we are also not like switching like 180 and not trying to to switch to another field. The life is continuing. Yeah,
guys, no worries, everything will be okay.
Not really, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dmitro. Thank you for joining in this podcast. I'm really appreciate this.
Yeah, appreciate having me.